Where were you in 93? Playing tag or climbing trees. Down a gym right up a fit board, making jokes and praising the Lord. Dan J's Silver Jubilee. It's your favorite quadricentenary. Gonna drink some beer and talk sketches too. Forget there's an audience. Hey, that's you. They've been making jokes since puberty. This is how they find real levity.
Once again,
Doctor's
It is a-
log. This is May 15th, 2022, and it seems as though the drink has been kept cool and delicious. I'm sorry, wait, Dan?
yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, shit. Are we starting the podcast right now?
Yeah. The schedule said 5 o'clock.
Oh, that's so weird. That's so weird. Okay. Well, yeah. Hold on. Doctor's log will pause here. We'll get back to it during the advertising segment. Okay. Goodbye. Dan, I'm sorry. Just to explain the reason I'm wearing a lab coat right now. I am in the middle of some very exciting developments of a new Dan and Jay's Comedy Hour product. I know we don't release a lot of products that often.
No, just the Budberry Candy Mead.
Exactly right.
Mostly.
Probably a few other things we've definitely forgotten. The Dan and Jay's Comedy Hour brand cup, which you can get at celerysoundrecords.com. And, we'll get to this in a moment. But let's first talk about what,
Limited edition. There's only a couple of them lying around Jay's room right now.
Only a few. Should we talk about our drink sponsors, or should we do a little sort of food holes situation? I know you couldn't find
I could
Coca-Cola
not.
Starlight, but are you...
I really wanted to. I looked everywhere.
Do you want to hear what I have to say about it, or
I think I would, because I don't think I'm going to get my hands on it over here.
True. I mean, perhaps we could go back in time.
Remember,
at some point.
I do live in the most remote city in the country.
That's true. Perhaps I could go back in time and you could taste it at the same time, but that won't work. And we are going to be discussing a time machine related sketch shortly, which is oh god. This is weird. This is early. We haven't gotten to drink sponsors or segments, or classic segments. We haven't talked about the sketch or anything, but I'm getting a call here from H.G. Wells. I think I have to answer it. Let's see here. Hello, H.G. Wells. Is that you, H.G. Wells? Are you there? Hello, author H.G. Wells. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yes. This technology is slightly perplexing.
I understand. The time box is a little confusing.
That happens.
Oh, there you are. Oh, hi.
How are you achieving this, flying through space?
Well, it's. Oh, yeah, Dan. Why don't you walk him through exactly what you're doing? He might be a little confused. He only knows this time communication device.
It's not real space. It's fake space.
Oh, I see. Yes. Oh, of course. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Clearly. I predicted the possibility of something of that sort in one of my books.
I'm sure you did.
War of the Worlds.
Yes, indeed.
It's sort of like an invisibility cloak, only you need a screen to see it.
I can't remember. Did you write Harry Potter, H.G. Wells? I don't know a lot about books.
I had a friend named Harry, and I wrote him quite often.
Okay.
But his surname was not Potter.
Oh, okay, fair. So you didn't. Okay, that's fine. Harry Potter is a series of books, and I'm the dumb one on the show. So what happens is I don't know what's happening around the world or anything. So I don't ever. H.G. Wells.
Typical.
It's so weird. I mean, all I did was bring up the mere topic of time travel, which comes up all the time.
Yes.
And you just show up out of the blue.
I've been following some of your work. I've been looking into it. I happened upon one of your videos in which you traveled through time, seemingly. I witnessed the vigorous shaking of the craft as you moved through space. The mechanism for which to start the machine looked quite complex.
It was.
It was very complex.
I couldn't see how it would work, but it appeared to. You traveled through time, and I was very interested.
Now,
And,
you've been monitoring our show. I hope you haven't been analyzing it for consistency, canonical or otherwise. I hope that's not been your concentration. I hope it's just been a general idea of what we're doing.
No, of course not. No.
Okay, good.
No. From I've perused, read through some of the history of your show. It's quite extensive.
It is.
Quite extensive.
There is quite a history.
Almost unbelievably so. You're
yes,
not wrong.
Yes. You dissolved and reformed many times over the years.
Yeah, I mean, look,
impressive.
Thank you. And I believe actually a couple of our grandparents or great grandparents may have actually dissolved and then reformed as beings. I don't know enough about it. I don't know.
If you go back far enough, I'm sure some of our earliest ancestors may have.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's possible that our old, like even our single-celled ancestors were like performers as well, or what do you think?
I feel like they would be remiss if they weren't.
That's true. I mean, like, you've got to set your children up for
everyone says they come from a long line of blah.
Exactly.
And
as I posited in my book, The Time Machine.
That's the one.
Yes. Over the years, genetic traits, and all that sort of thing can be passed down over generations and generations, and yes, it's quite possible that some of your single-celled ancestors would have danced a wobbly dance with their membrane, perhaas, and
this is getting sexy all of a sudden.
Titillated the other titillated the other amoebas. It could have been quite alluring.
What were the bad guys in that book called? The Mucklucks? That's what they are, right?
The Morlocks.
The Morlocks. The Eloy and the Morlocks.
I think
Morlocks. Vicious brutes.
I'll just say, fine and good. But Dan, if you ever decide we want to change it to Mucklucks, we can always go back in time and make him change.
That's true. We can just make that happen.
Not to threaten you. I'm just saying I like to exercise. Time travel can be a little dry and dull, and I like to exercise fun in time travel, which is sometimes messing with what happens and possibly changing it for the worse. But that's never my intent. I mean, we don't purposely step on
we don't purposely step on any butterflies we don't intend to step on.
Exactly right. We try and do it with precision. It's surgical.
Yes.
Surgical strikes.
Precise murder or what have you.
Exactly right. Wow. H.G. Wells, I'm so excited to have you here. I mean, you watched
thank you.
The video.
I did. Yes.
Maybe we'll just have you stick around and we'll talk about it. We'll do that. But Dan and I do another.
Yeah, it turns out I have quite a lot of free time.
Yeah.
So yes,
not busy. Okay.
No, nothing.
Do you have any coals in the fire right now vis-a-vis books?
I've been thinking about a bit of a tale with something resembling your internet, but with a series of tubes to transmit the information.
What's it called? Have you given a name to this?
It's still a working title, of course, but currently I have it saved under "What if baked tubes were the internet?"
Oh, okay. I mean,
it needs some work.
wordy, but you know what?
Some work.
But you need to know what it is. You're not going to pull it up and like,
I wanted to remember.
Yeah,
that's fair.
You've got a what if file. I get that. What if
we all have one of those?
What if they were called Mucklucks because that sounds better? What if this? What if that? I get that. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
What you should understand, HG. Is it okay if I call you HG?
Yes.
Wonderful. Because we've got another friend, H.H. Holmes, who demands we call him H, or then demands we call him I Ohms, J.J. Abrams. So we just want to make sure that we're okay with you. We have a segment on the show. Sometimes it's its own thing called Food Holes with Dan and Jay. And that's where we'll test something that is out there. Basically, there are a lot of products in our time that are out there to trick millennials into spending money they don't have. And one of them is called Coca-Cola Starlight. And I don't know what time you're in right now, but Coca-Cola, I don't know if it exists yet in your time, but invented in the 1880s, I think. Still had cocaine at that point. This Coca-Cola Starlight doesn't. It says space flavored.
You know, the 80s, they have great strippers.
Oh, really?
Fantastic strippers.
Okay.
I am quite a, say, connoisseur of the flesh myself. And yeah, I just spent quite some time in the 80s enjoying your
Oh, okay. So you have
traveled
around. Okay.
Yes,
yeah,
yes. Oh, I first became aware of cocaine through the work in the early 20th century. Cocaine was quite popular among the academic circles, and I enjoyed more than my fair share of
it appears that Coca-Cola would have been introduced when Mr. HG here was 20 years old.
Oh, okay. So you've probably had this cut and uncut, I would imagine.
Oh yes.
This purports, HG, to taste like space. Now, just so you know, we have not traveled enough to space now to know what it tastes. In fact, if you ask an astronaut what space smells like, it's burnt steak. That is not, fortunately, what this tastes like, Dan. But
I almost kind of wish it was now.
I do too. Now, I will say this. Here's the problem. I've drank a few of these. I don't like it. Okay?
Okay.
It is but I have tried to see if I can get a taste for it. Because I'm gonna take a little sip and see if it still reminds me of the first thing it reminded. Real quick, Dan, of things you and I enjoy or don't enjoy, what's the first smell you think of that you know we both hate?
We both hate.
Ooh, there it is.
I forget. Do you like licorice?
I like licorice sometimes.
Okay, because that's one that I just can't do.
What's a smell that permeates, sticks around, that we both experience at the same time? That
cat
we
piss?
Absolutely hate. You're not wrong. Cat piss does do that. Remember at Walmart, Dan, those little gingerbread gel candles?
Oh, no. Are you telling me this smells like the garbage gel candles?
You don't quite get it on the smell, but on the taste, it's right there. And yeah, and then part of the aftertaste is kind of okay. And so you're like, what is happening? Again, I am a sucker. I fell for it. And what I'm going to do now is mix it with rum, because maybe rum will fix this.
Yes. Maybe, yeah.
HG, are you? Do you imbibe? Do you partake?
I do. Yes. It helps calm the nerves. Helps settle the gentleman.
Exactly. You got writer's block. Pop a couple of these babies
yes.
in your stomach. Maybe you've got some new ideas, baby. And then, of course, you can also just time travel and steal other ideas, I guess, would be another thing you could do. That's great.
Yes. It's quite convenient.
I bet.
Half the things I wrote in my books, I people think I predicted them. I mean, yes, I did, but really, I just made the ideas of the future shittier. so as to disguise my time travel.
Sure.
I couldn't reveal, of course, that I traveled into the far future to borrow ideas. So as if I recreated them exactly on the page, I feared that many may discover the ruse or suspect. So yes, I just made shittier versions of the things that I had witnessed.
That's beautiful. I mean, honestly,
that's
art. That's art.
In there
sure,
as well.
Of course. Yeah.
So how is it with rum?
Well, let's see. The smell is a little worse.
Okay, it's a good start.
Closer to the taste, which is not good. Let's see. Oh, nope. It's more of the thing I don't like, and it loses the okay aftertaste. So now it's like I'm drinking a gingerbread gel candle almost.
Oh man,
this is I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna keep drinking it because it's there, and I did. But Jesus Christ, was this a terrible idea? Dan, what's your drink sponsor? Mine's shit.
I haven't drank too much of this yet.
Okay.
But it is from Cascade Lakes Brewing Company in Redmond, Washington. And it is salted caramel porter.
Okay, that sounds like that could be very good. What are your first thoughts of it?
Well, it's a porter, so it's thick.
It's dark.
Thick like a bowl of oatmeal.
Is it enjoyable?
It's hoppier than some of the porters I've had.
That's weird. Okay. All right. Dan's gonna take a little sip from this.
It has a little bit of that taste that I don't like in an IPA kind of thing.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
also got like that Tootsie Roll graininess, warmth to it.
yeah. Okay.
And frankly, I don't really taste salt or caramel. It just tastes like a porter, any old stout or porter to me.
My guess is the IPA part is what is making those other flavors maybe not pop in the same way. Because IPA, that hoppy flavor can be quite distracting.
It's because it is definitely got that aftertaste.
HG, are you drinking? Or you don't have to. You're not required to drink HG.
I have a beverage here I've discovered I quite enjoy.
Uh-huh.
And it gives me quite a bit of energy, this monster.
Ooh, that's like the Mucklucks. Those are monsters.
Yeah.
Did you steal like a case of those from the future and just bring them back to your time?
Yeah. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, that's exactly what I did. It made it easier. I just I found one of your Costco's. And as it turns out, it's quite easy to steal a pallet if you have a time machine.
Evidently,
So-
I would imagine so.
How did you
Yes.
get the time machine into the Costco, or was that not how you
Was
did
it there already?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I noted the geographic location of a future Costco.
Okay.
Transported my time machine to those bounds, which at this time was the middle of the forest, and then traveled.
That's
And
amazing.
as such arrived. It was quite fascinating to watch the construction all around me. I slowed down the machine for a time so I could see the workers busy at work, much like the Morlocks, disgusting creatures.
Mike, I have a question about that. If you are in position while something's being built around you, I have two perspectives. One is my brain thinks you're there for a microsecond, a nanosecond during certain periods in time. My other thought is you're there the whole time and everything's speeding up around you and they're somehow not interrupting your existence. I'm assuming it's the former because otherwise they could kick you a lot and it'd break your time
Yes.
machine.
Yes, well, as detailed in the early chapters of my book, The Time Machine, one of the first stories on time travel, I conceptualize it in my time machine as you are flitting through time, occurring, moving along a fifth dimension, as it were, while all the rest occur all around you. But you are separate but witness. So
Okay.
it's kind of like
It creates what we in the business, Jay, call a time bubble.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
or a very fast montage of sorts.
Or like a really intellectual peep show.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you? I don't want to look. I don't want to call you. I don't want you to have to put your shit out if you don't want here. But every once in a while, do you just bang one out while everybody's going around you? Is it exciting? I'm not.
It spirals out into space.
Sort of like the Superman roller
it's like-
coaster, right? It
it's-
just kind of
it's-
floats
it's-
there.
It's like Spider-Man, where you see it slap a workman on the cheek.
Boy, H.G. Wells is filthy. I mean, to be fair, I shouldn't be surprised. You got horny over a couple of single-celled organisms, so I got a feeling from you. You're a randy fella.
I loved, as I once said, I've loved several people very deeply over the years. But I do enjoy the female form. I married my cousin, as you know.
Sure. Yep. As they all did.
Yes, of course, as was the way, and we separated amicably as I fell in love with one of my young students.
Not a cousin, though.
No, not my cousin this time, which actually this never made its way into any of my novels. But in my private journals, I did actually predict the advent of the dirge of modern incest pornography. Oh, it's quite a movement, quite a lot of stepbrothers and stepsisters and getting stuck in a dryer. Never had this happen to me. Never. It's inconceivable how it might occur. They seem quite large, these drums, and yet, as if a barb, they enter the dryer and elbows are extended and they're unable to exit, and these women are raped. It's awful.
There's no other way to put it.
It's awful. But yeah, it's just a plague. Have you made dryers significantly smaller in the future? I haven't. I admit I haven't examined one closely.
I mean, Dan, I don't know what kind of washer dryer system you
I mean,
have.
we have an extra large.
Okay.
And no one's gotten stuck in that one. And my
Okay,
sister
good.
lives with me right now.
Okay. So that's good. Just real quick, does HG stand for horny guy?
Well, officially it is for Herbert George, but in my younger days, I may have gone by Horny Guy Wells a time or two.
I bet you have.
Amongst my friends.
Dan, why is everybody we talked to in the past super fucking horny?
It's very boring.
I
It's
was gonna
very
say,
boring. There's nothing to do. Nothing. Absolute. I can write.
I mean, it's always been like that, Jay. I mean, one of the Psalms is just a freaking horny boy story. So
Okay, I mean that's true. I mean, why did you invent absinthe? Because we needed to, I guess.
we were very
Exactly.
bored.
necessity is the mother of all invention.
One of the many things I've taken back with me on my travels was a marvelous invention by a scientist by the name of Hoffman. You refer to it most commonly, I believe, as acid.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Delightful. Delightful.
I hope
Three of my novels were written while in the throes of a monumental trip. Just delightful. Turns out, your MK Ultra, your government's MK Ultra project produced the acid of the very highest quality.
Please tell me you have like a filigreed leather case in which to keep your acid tabs. I hope that's the case.
It's not yet filigreed.
Okay.
I generally transport them in my satchel here.
Oh, okay.
It is leather, but I have yet to inscribe the monogram.
Now I'm hoping that bag is not filled to the brim with acid tabs.
Oh yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to have to go back. Do you know how hard it is to enter a secured military facility? It's quite difficult.
I thought it would be easy with the time machine.
You would think, but no. First, I have to travel back because so many of them are built upon existing structures, and much of the land has been inhabited by humanity over time. And then, of course, you have bunkers, which are an absolute pain in my ass.
That's fair.
So I have to go back quite far in time in order to locate an unconstructed region for some of these
Yeah, especially
facilities.
like a bunker style thing. You'd have to go back so far that either the tectonics have moved,
or dig a hole.
or
I would-
or the mountains haven't
for
formed
for
yet.
the most part, for when it's only been a handful of occasions that I've wanted to enter a bunker or underground facility or basement. But what I've done, rather than muck about with all this tectonic plates, it's quite inconvenient. It's a crapshoot. So I found it far easier to just steal a backhoe and transport that back through time. And
Fair enough.
How do you? Is your time machine similar to the one in your book? Because that one would not have been big enough to transport a backhoe. So I'd be curious how you handle that.
quite correct. Quite correct. My early attempts at the time machine were cumbersome, not very easy to transmit objects much larger than a sack or a satchel. But far into the future, humanity has developed largely for, again, as is the way, pornographic reasons. Smaller, more compact time machines. You can actually slap them onto an object like one of your
A decal.
yes,
nicotine patch?
like a decal or those globe lights that you have so many advertisements for on late night television.
You spent a lot of time in our period of time, haven't you?
The past is terrible. It's dreadfully boring.
Wouldn't that be the present for you?
He's being
but
kind to us, I think.
Okay, that's fair.
It is our
yes,
path.
yes.
He's putting it in our frame of reference.
It's
Exactly.
easier for you to understand.
Especially for
I
me,
assume.
the dumb one. Like it's just
Yes,
easier.
yes.
The guy who thinks they're called
the
mucklucks.
the drunk dumb one. Yes.
Exactly right. Getting there.
This is actually doing a pretty good job on that front.
This tastes like shit still. Boy, oh boy.
That much more. Well, how much is beer usually?
Have you
This is
tried adding
5.8.
more rum?
That's a little more. I could add more rum, but I would get too drunk to the point where I wouldn't be able to understand how time travel works anymore. We don't want that. Yeah, Dan,
No.
I think your average beer's between 5 and 5.5, so that's a little stronger.
Lower.
5.8. Is it really?
Lower.
Okay.
Five-
In
5% it
domestic,
says.
common domestics, most commonly 3 to 4,
Oh, crazy.
up to 5%.
Okay. What about Canadian? Canadian's lower, right? Isn't Canadian? It's like.
I
Wait a minute.
I'm not
Real
sure.
quick, H.G. Wells, did you invent Home Improvement? Because it sounded very like
Tim Allen.
you like Tim Allen. You're a big fan.
No, but I got some great cocaine from him once.
That's not surprising.
Not far from where I live, actually. From what I
Yes.
understand. Yeah.
He stole that sound from me.
Did you guys get high together? I mean, you must have, right?
No, I stole his cocaine.
Okay, you just
Yeah, it
stole his
wasn't
cocaine,
I
and then
stole his cocaine.
and you went on your way out.
Well, I tripped. It was it was dark,
Okay.
and I was quite high.
You were already high, but you knew I need more of this. I need more cocaine.
Well, he had left some lines out on the table in his living room, and before he passed out, and I partook of those, but I was there to take his cocaine, so I found his larger stash, which was
Smart.
squirreled away in his ass.
So Blue Moon is 5.4.
Okay. So compared to a one that you're used
So
to,
it's a little bit, it's a little bit more than a Blue
a
Moon.
little stronger, but not by much. Dan, I feel like we would be remiss if we did not discuss this week's sketch, which is not a sketch. It is just a scene out of an attempt at a movie.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, do some things not happen in this.
Okay, now it's time to time travel. Okay, special flight jacket. Okay. A2, emergency lighting. Thank you. Start up the ignition. Destination. Moldavia, 1697. Now it's time to take off. Let's see what's out there. Now let's see what's out there.
HG, since you've already seen it, let me walk you through a few things, and Dan actually might help me fill in my memory here a bit.
Okay.
The slightly shaded and maybe even Black Avenger, which is meant to refer to his clothing, not to his skin tone, and not even meant to reference skin tone, I thought was a funny joke for a long time. He time travels in his film. So this is a film, just so you know, not a document of something that actually happened that I know of.
Correct.
But he uses his what did A2 stand for, Dan? ATU. Is it audio transceiver unit? Is that what we said it was?
I think so.
And you can't even see it on screen, I don't think. But we hooked a monitor up to an audio source, and it would blink when Dan spoke, because Dan was, pardon me, the voice of A2. I couldn't even see it in this, which I don't know what the hell the point of even having him in there was, because I think it was facing the other way.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he's going to Moldavia in 1697. He is to meet a Moldavian representative played by Dan, who had invented Moldavia, although Moldavia has existed. It's a long, complicated story. Moldavia is a real place, but Dan's version
There's
of Moldavia...
a Moldova.
Yes, but there also has been a Moldavia.
Oh, right. You're right. We looked that up that one time.
But your Moldavia is 1
Different.
inch by 1 inch square, or
Yep.
1 foot by 1 foot. It's very small, and you're basically
Yeah.
the guardian of it. And I guess eventually we would go to my backyard where my barn was, and Dan would be wearing a glittery gold yarmulke and a gold matching cummerbund, and a suit as the representative of Moldavia. And then, so this is, we just shake the camera a lot, and I Jim Carrey my way out of there at the very end. I don't know why I was quite Jim Carreying it. I guess I defaulted to that sometimes, I suppose.
Moldavia was right next to Transylvania.
Okay, well, there we are. There we go. The real Moldavia. HG, what were your first thoughts when you saw this delightful video that is floating around in the ether now?
It's quite colorful. Quite colorful. It was, possible that I may be going slightly deaf in my old age, but it did seem as though I could only hear from the left.
For time, yeah.
Which was curious. Was it some quirk of your time machine that dampened the sound from the right?
We were both trying to figure this out too, because when our friend Mike, who was running the camera, turned the lights on, all of a sudden you could hear out of both channels, and I'm not sure what was wrong with that camera.
I don't know where that came from.
Never heard of such a thing. Unless it was
quite curious.
Yeah, like a power surge. I don't know what could have happened that would have done that. And that terrible buzz, tried everything I could with Premiere to get that go bye-bye, but no go bye-bye. That sounded terrible.
Yeah.
And it was the shaky. I mean, obviously it's supposed to be shaky. But yeah, this did not end up being a feature film. You will not be disappointed to find out, HG. But
Yep.
although, one of these days maybe I'll finish it, because we have way too much footage sitting there. And I'll just finish it as a grown-up without any hair. And that'll be that.
It'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. HG, I'm curious. We don't always have this, but sometimes when people come on this show, they're like, oh, maybe I'll talk about something I made when I was a child. Do you have any sample writings you did when you were 12 or 13? Or anything you want to remember off the top of your head?
I broke my leg in 1874. I was quite young, merely 8, and I passed much of my time with books from the local library brought from by my father. I did not write quite so much in my youth as I did later on in life. I spent an unhappy period as an apprentice in a draper. I did write many anonymous, rather crude suggestions to the draper, which I sent from various addresses about town.
Do you remember any of them off the top of your head?
Oh yes, I believe my favorite was, "Dear sir, your drapery would be rather more at home around your neck, or in than in a home. It is quite dreadful. It wasn't my best piece of writing.
Sure, but you know what? It was pure and from the heart.
Felt very good to send.
It's always it's good to get your feelings out.
That was I'm sure back then when it was a mistake really at that point to introduce an anonymous complaint tin, as I'm sure they called it, and you send it by telegraph, I would assume.
Oh no, I just scrawled a note in rooster's blood upon the back of a rather large piece of wood, and then anonymously, in the dead of night, hurled it through his front window.
Okay.
That's That's how you get their attention. Like they know you're serious when you do that.
Did it pay off, do you think, or did he just get more and more suspicious and afraid at that point?
He I don't think he ever found out that it was me who had chucked the. I did do this several times, occasionally with rocks, pieces of wood, a pair of his drapes. One time, they're quite weighty, difficult to throw. I had to use the chicken that I had previously bled to break the window because the drapes were too heavy for me to throw. But the chicken,
you broke a window with a meaty chicken.
With a dead cock, as it were.
That must have the viscera. I can only imagine, and the feathers. I'm assuming it still had its feathers. That's just a disturbing image. But you are the king of the disturbing image, I assume.
Yeah, I'm most well known in addition to my works of science fiction. Generally, most people might remember me as a science fiction author, an author of many works.
Sure.
As the Invisible Man, War of the Worlds, as immortalized by my good friend Orson Welles.
Oh, you knew him? Oh.
Who, yes, I did. He stole my name, the son of a bitch. But he's quite a nice gentleman. We did meet.
Okay.
And I also have written quite lengthily about socialism and the redistribution of wealth. And
In which direction do you lean?
Oh, I identify, sir, as a socialist.
Okay.
Quite outspoken socialist. Your time is, and pardon my French here, but your time is quite fucked.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Considerably so.
No doubt.
Things have gone in the wrong direction in many ways.
And
Of
it's
course.
crazy that with all these time machines, none of us can manage to fix it. It seems as though there's an inevitability to some of
Yeah,
this,
it's
which
sort
is
of
very
like a-
distressing.
It's like it's just a state in time that is just set.
It's quite worrisome.
It is. It is. I'm now. Were you at all surprised to see a time? I guess you weren't surprised to see a time machine in that small. Here, let me just show you. I mean, you know what it looks like, obviously, but I want to just show you. Sometimes this throws people off that I have the very one you have, but it's obviously in a different time. This is
Marvelous.
of course, same time box that you're looking at, but I just got to make sure I don't. If I press this down, obviously, as you know, the time juice will activate, and this is going to take me back into a time. I don't even remember what I left it set on. It's probably set on. It's blinking 12 o'clock. Ha ha ha. That's not true. But I mean, I guess you wouldn't be surprised by a small time machine. But do you know who dropped that off at your? This is one thing we never know. It's like how people are getting the time boxes. Do you know how that came to your door? Do you have any concept?
Well, I have on occasion, while traveling forwards, bringing along several of the much smaller, more compact devices for things I would like to steal.
Oh, okay.
Generally, I try to emulate Robin Hood and then steal from the rich. I have taken quite a few cars from your Jeffrey Bezos.
Oh, good.
I
bet he
find
hasn't
him
even
to
noticed.
be quite a douchebag.
Yeah.
I have also, as you alluded to earlier, dropped a load upon his head, his bald, shining pate. I took the time to pause and trace it in the shape of the Amazon logo.
It's complicated.
I did it. Well, I did it. I didn't have to travel through time for this. I did it as he slept upon his yacht.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, I was going to say, that won't be a headline, H.G. Wells sexually assaults Jeff Bezos, because no one will believe it.
No.
But, you know.
Yeah.
It's much like meeting Bill Murray.
No one will believe you. That's correct. Exactly. You have definitely spent a lot of time on our internet.
Yeah.
Yes. The internet is quite disgusting, but quite fascinating.
So, question about that, because it seems like the internet that you've, like the pop culture, the memes, all that you understand seems to be very similar to like our time period.
Sure. Yeah.
So is it because there's just like a certain distance you feel comfortable traveling in time and hanging out? Or is it the further into the future you go, the more boring it gets?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes. Well, I've spent quite a lot of time with my great-grandson by the name of Simon. He's a director in Hollywood.
Oh.
He worked as a consultant on your Back to the Future movie.
Okay.
And he and I have had quite a number of interesting conversations, and I've met his family, and I wish to monitor them through their progress. I never got to know while I was alive. I didn't see my line passed down. But through time travel, I can spend quite a lot of time with my family, and
That's fair.
as this is sort of he was born in the year 1961, and so
Okay.
I've spent quite a lot of time with him, and I've stolen him quite a few things so he can appoint me with a fine room to stay in while I spend time in the future, soundproofed and safe and secure. But the far-flung future kind of goes to shit. Some of the troubling tendencies of this time, your time, escalate and worsen. The wealth inequality. The time machine was written as a sort of not a realistic, not a hopeful picture of the future. But unfortunately, it was intended somewhat as satire of
Sure.
some of the popular
Okay.
ideas, such as genetic poverty and this and that, and all those sorts of things of my time. But it's kind of looking like it's going to go that way a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
I feel like I should ask, just to change the tone slightly, if only because I feel the same exact way and I understand. But you were talking about Hollywood. Have you ever seen the film Time After Time, starring Malcolm McDowell? who plays you?
Delightful.
Okay,
Delightful.
Okay, good, wonderful. He plays you.
Dan, you look quite familiar.
Have you seen Time After Time, Dan?
I have not seen Time
You
After
have not.
Time.
Well, I will say the other person in it, Malcolm McDowell plays yourself, as you know. Mary Steenburgen is in it. She's the romantic lead. And then David Warner, classic brilliant actor, plays Jack the Ripper. And if that...
A dreadful man.
oh, shit. I can't say who's calling. Dan, you know what? Could you do me a favor?
Yeah,
Why don't you
what?
just take a quick break, walk around the block real quick? I got to answer this Zoom call that I just don't think maybe you want to hear. I'll be honest with you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Sorry, real quick. HG. This.
Yes.
I'm getting a call from a guy named Steam Dan. Steam Dan is Dan in the future, and I don't want to tell you too well. Hello. Hello. Steam Dan, are you there? I don't think he's there. Hello. 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 We've never had this kind of trouble before. Oh God. Oh shit. Steam Dan.
Hello.
Hi. How are you? First of all.
Oh, it's been a very busy time.
I
Thanks
bet.
for asking.
Yeah. So I don't know if you recognize the gentleman we have with us, but it is Mr. H.G.
Yeah,
Wells.
that son of a bitch.
Oh shit.
Hey!
Uh-oh. So
Screw you, sir!
Not again. I won't fall for that a second time.
I will catch you one day.
So you say, but no one has yet.
You dastardly man.
Steam Danny having difficulty getting your Steam hat back on with
I
those
am having
headphones?
a very difficult time.
Look, HG, I'm sorry for his salty language towards you. You guys sounds like you guys have a similar beef to what happens in the film, the 1979 film Time After Time. Have you been trying to catch him, HG?
That movie is my biography.
You bastard. Yes, I have.
Oh shit.
I've been in search of him for years.
All right. Well, look.
Well, you'll never find me.
You slippery bastard.
I am so slippery because of my steam.
Are you, Steam Dan? Right now, are you
Like a greased eel.
are you
Like a grease steel.
Are
You
you in
said grease steel?
Yes.
Grease steel? Grease
Greased,
steel?
greased eel. You know what I'm saying. Stop it, you.
That's what you get.
torturing him with his own words. Boy, that's some harsh stuff. It's not as bad as murdering sex workers, but boy, is that some rough stuff.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
from my perspective, it seems much worse.
That's weird. That's weird.
I did. My pursuit of him has very little to do with the murders of prostitutes, and much more to do with his personal effrontery.
Oh,
He's
wow.
very rude. Very rude.
I am an old man. I don't have much time left on this earth. I don't have time for pleasantry.
You're a piece of shit,
Or
Steam Dan. That's what you
the
are.
peasantry.
A piece of shit.
Peasantry!
A pox upon you.
Pox
Wow.
upon your penis.
Damn it! I need my penis.
Well, at least someone does.
This is the harshest beef ever on this podcast. I'm pretty sure this is some rough stuff. I mean, at some point, I'm assuming like Steam Dan, you're gonna release like a diss track, and then like you're gonna hit him back.
Yes,
with
it's
one.
on Victrola now.
Oh, it is. You can get it. You can get your diss track on an old.
On the Victrola, yeah.
Oh wow, that's I mean, HG. I don't know if you're gonna pick that up or not. I mean, you can choose not to listen to it. To be fair,
It's
but you
strangely popular in my time. He released it then just to annoy me.
what's
I
the
actually targeted his neighborhood for the initial release party. It was amazing.
what's the name of it? Steam Dan?
It's called HG has a pox upon his penis.
Oh, okay. I mean, again,
He's a
little
son of a
wordy.
bitch. Do you know how hard I had
It
to work
implies
before
it
anyone
implies
was
he
willing to
has
have
a
sex with me when that
sexually
came out? 6 months. A
transmitted
6-month dry spell.
disease.
You bastard.
Wow, a 6-month dry spell. I'm so sorry. Well, why don't you release a response track? I mean, you can do that. I'm assuming probably pretty easy for you. Probably got some money.
It's yes. I may.
He's a bad writer when it comes to rhyme.
You shut up. To be frank, the idea had not occurred to me
Think about it.
until you suggested it. Perhaps if I
Perhaps because you're
rejoin
such
you
a
again
bad
without
lyricist.
Steam Dan, that son of a bitch, that horrible, horrible man. Maybe I will leave. I will avoid him entirely and leave the diss track on a cassette or CD or an MP3 upon your desk or in your computer. I must pen this.
I mean, to be fair, if you do that, at least historically, I mean, obviously already historically you've left more of an impact than Jack the Ripper. But rap-wise, then you will have left a bigger impact than Steam Dan / Jack the Ripper has. So, Steam Dan, I mean, he might just knock you out with that. Like, if it's just
My history is not to do with being known for my rap-itude.
Uh-huh.
But
You just okay.
hopefully he knows that I will be at every grand opening of one of his stories.
He snuck into
And I
every
will
single
be
one.
very,
Every single one.
Very snide.
He's
One of
been
those classic.
terribly dry, and obnoxiously witty,
those-
biting remarks.
Classic book grand openings.
Yes.
Steam Dan, yes. When the book is opened for the first time, that's hence the name.
Yes.
A fanfare plays as HG opens it, and then you in the background raise your hand and say, "I object. He is a piss pot," something to that effect.
Upon the release of my novel, the Time Machine, or no, not the Time Machine. It was the First Men in the Moon. It was the release party, and I went to open one of the first box of the first run of pressings, and when I slit the box open, this bastard popped out of the box. He had infiltrated the party
I
by
had infiltrated the party
masquerading
with-
as books. I thought it was quite heavy, but I
told him, this story is much too verbose, and everyone gasped.
everyone. It was It was horribly embarrassing.
That's humiliating.
It was. I was humiliated.
I said the books were verbose, the language was hoary, and worst, he can't write a good story, and I rhymed better than he ever has.
Wow, that's harsh. That is harsh, HG. I can't imagine.
Dreadful man.
Now, was that book?
And then I went home with his date.
his cousin.
She was stuck in a dryer.
HG, was that your first book, the one you're referring to now, or
The First Men in the Moon.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, no.
Ed.
Was this before the time machine though, or after the time machine?
You know, it all kind of blends slightly. The first
He does
Men in
travel
the
through time.
Moon.
I mean, to be fair.
First Men in the Moon was published first in 1901. The Time Machine was the year 1895.
Oh, okay. So by that, I just wanted to make sure there hadn't been some jiggery pokery with the time machine situation where like you got like Steam Dan left you a time machine. How did you? Okay, I need to know this, HG. How did you come to invent the time machine? Like what specialized skills do you have, or were you at some point delivered a time machine and you just kept very good care of it, and it also happened to look very steampunk?
Yes, I just
Stole it from me.
I did no such thing.
Oh,
You stole my notes. All my notes. You stole them.
You didn't deserve them. They were much better put to use under my care.
wow.
So you say.
Wow.
And what have you done with them? You travel through time and whack it.
Only unto those who deserve it.
And who are you who are to decide who deserves Spooge through time?
Oh no, this can't be the name of the episode. Continue.
Jeffrey Dahmer had semen on his face from
Okay, I may have had something to do with Jeffrey Dahmer eventually becoming rather more traumatized than he already was. But he was going down a bad road already. The least I could do, well, I mean, not the least, but I felt as though it's necessary. Besides, my title within my Masonic order is Time-Traveling Spooge Master.
Oh. I guess you do have to
Did you gain that before or after you were time splooging?
Oh.
It feels almost as if the
I
horse
plead the
begets the
fifth.
cart.
I plead the fifth.
Oh, well. It's got us there. We do hold we do recognize.
You hold
that
these
on this
rights
pod-
as self-evident. That is accurate, yes.
Look, guys, you have a very strong beef, but before we end the podcast and before I like to honestly, I'd like to explore some more of your beef. But before we get there, so
That's
you might
what
have
his
noticed.
cousin said.
Oh boy! Wow, you're rough. You're rough. Oh, you'll notice I was drinking out of. There's also. No, we'll talk about it later.
She told me you have a tiny penis.
Oh. Steam Dan, tiny penis. What do you have
Because
to
of
say
her
to that?
large vagina. It's all perspective.
The size of her vagina is a genetic condition. You should be sensitive to that, sir.
Maybe
Could be
this,
sensitive to much of anything with the size of that.
maybe
Oh,
this ad goes
I
in the
must
middle.
go.
Goes in the middle
I
of the
hear
show.
a prostitute.
Okay, goodbye, Steam Dan. He's left. Wow, he just left.
Good riddance.
He just left, like, just no boy. Well, I started out we're talking about inventions just by coincidence this week. You all right, Dan?
Why did you need me to walk around?
Somebody showed up.
Oh.
Son of a bitch.
It was Steam Dan, but that's all you need to know.
You didn't want me to talk to him?
I didn't want you to know some specifics about him. I'll be honest with you, you just don't need to know any more about his identity. You just need to know that he's Steam Dan and he's future.
Know that he is a bastard, man.
Oh yeah, he definitely is that.
Yeah, he is. A bastard.
That has been firmly established.
So now that we have a clear edit point that I can turn this into a review. So these cups ordered years ago. These are the Dan and Jay's Comedy Hour anniversary cups, 1993 to present. These are great. You can get them at celerysoundrecords.com. But what you can also now get,
Yes.
thanks to CoolieNation.com, they've sponsored this week's episode. Hey everybody, it's Jay from the future. So I did not mention as we recorded the exact discount that they're doing with us, but CoolieNation.com is offering 20% off for any of our customers up to $100. They just ask you to mention our name when you ask for the quote. Just enter our name in the special notes or wherever it asks you any other details like that. Also, shortly, there will be a domain where you won't even need to enter that. That'll be coolination.com. That's COOLIE nation.com/DJCH. It's a little late for a sponsor spot, but what are you going to do? They have provided us with these delightful little koozies. Now, they do not, koozie is a trademark name. So for them, they call them coolies. Now, we prefer... This is what I've invented. The word cylinder. Now, it's a cylinder that keeps your drink chill. I mean,
Chills it out, man.
They appear delightful. I may after time travel once more to obtain, semi-legally obtain some.
sure. Yeah. That's fine. I mean, you just let me know. And I'll leave some on the porch for you to steal, so you don't have to organize anything crazy.
Thank you. That's very much appreciated. I
The
will
Dan and
leave
If
you.
only Fort Knox would follow that same
I
plan.
know. I bet. Dan and Jay's
I
Comedy
have
Hour.
quite a lot of their gold.
Oh,
If
I
you would
bet.
like some.
I mean, yes. Yeah.
Yes, I
But
will.
that's probably why we switched to fiat currency.
I
that
will
could
leave
be.
it. I'll leave it in your letterbox when I come to steal your koozies. Coolies.
Most people don't know, Chillenders, thank you. Most people don't know that the reason it's fiat currency is because at some point Europe made too many fiats, and now they are considered to be currency.
A form of currency.
Exactly right. There's a
Four
surplus
four
of them.
fiats for a V, they would say.
Exactly right. This has the Dan and Jay's Comedy Hour new logo on it. It's got a little comedy mask. It's got a VHS tape. It also says 1993 to present. It also has the time box on the back. Reminds you to go to history.danandjay.com. It's got a little history of the time box. Tells you about the name of some of our great-great-grandfather's sketches. Little picture of H.H. Holmes on the back, which I almost guarantee this is one of the very few cooling chillenders that you can get with H.H. Holmes' face on it.
Yeah, I bet there's a limited number of those.
That seems
exactly.
quite true.
So if you go to celerysoundrecords.com, because I'm not setting up a new shop just for these. If you go to celerysoundrecords.com, that's where you'll be able to get these. And as with the mugs, I will attach some sort of download to them that you can get. And who knows, over time, maybe more downloads will be attached to them. But thank you to coolination.com for sending these. We've got 100 of them. So once they're gone forever until I buy more. And there you are. So, and at some point, Dan and I will get some of these to you as well, so that you can have these. And who knows, maybe we'll get some of Dyson Den ones at some point as well. I can't speak.
Duns.
Yeah, Dan, I will say you missed quite a beef between HG and Steam Dan.
Oh, really?
Don't want to go into details. There was almost a rap battle, but not quite, because I guess HG's not comfortable rapping. I don't know his whole situation there, but
I like to have a beat.
oh, okay. That's fair. Nobody dropped a beat. You know what?
There was no beats dropped.
Yeah.
If
that's
you
fair.
one delightful thing I've picked up in times near yours is excuse me. If you don't mind, just take a
Sure.
I need some practice, as you see.
that
But
was good, though.
beatboxing is delightful.
It's very good.
Helpful,
I
'cause
mean,
then you always have a beat just ready to drop.
it's
Yes.
pleasureful.
Yes, quite satisfying. Puff,
I can-
puff. Speaking of, you have much finer cannabis in your time than was available in mine.
Well,
is what I hear,
We
yeah.
have been spending many years refining the process.
I found the easiest thing has been to steal edibles.
Yep.
Quite fun. Quite fun. A delight.
They'll hit you hard. But if you know how to take your time, or just have the smallest amount, take less than what they say, maybe, because maybe you'll have a freak out like I've had by having a whole edible. Okay, and that doesn't work for me.
The first time I partook of the cannabis of your time, I greened out, as I believe you refer to it. It is quite uncomfortable. Amy Catherine found me upon the chaise lounge with my pants about my ankles, screaming something about a drapery coming to avenge his windows.
Oh wow.
Yes,
Okay.
it was
That's rough.
quite disturbed. Yes.
I feel like I should let you know, HG. Like, this is a perfect time to do this. There's we're part of the Stolen Dress Podcast Network, which has been around for a while. On it, there's a podcast called Reading Books in Public Domain, and it's a delight. I don't know if you've heard it.
Oh no, it's I have not. Podcasts are something of a novel to me. I'm just discovering. You have so many of them.
It's a book podcast, and it's a novel to him. Get it?
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
Playing words.
Oh,
But season 1 of this podcast is The Time Machine, which is now in the public domain.
oh,
Yes.
what? So I'm not making any money off of this. Is
Well,
what you're
you
saying.
are dead.
Yeah, I mean, and so yeah, your family.
Well, yes, in your time.
Right.
Sure.
They don't.
Oh
Just
wait.
because you have the time machine, not the people who
Yes.
pay.
Okay.
so-
Okay. Oh yes. Yes. I understand now. It was many years after my death. Is what you're telling me. I understand. I apologize.
It's
quite
fair,
a lot.
it's fair to ask the question. It's fair to ask the question.
I feel like you know what? Actually, really quick. Sorry, I'm getting a call now that we're talking about it. Hold on. I think we're getting a call from the show's creator. I was going to call him the author, but that's exactly the opposite. Hello, Michael.
Oh yeah. Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Hey, Jason. How's it going?
I'm great.
Yeah. I was just. Yeah. I like my ears were burning.
Sure.
That's fair.
To be fully honest, when you invited me to StolenDress Entertainment, I may or may not have, full disclosure, hired a private investigator who bugged your house.
That's fine.
So I did know you were talking about me in my show.
Okay.
It's quite cool. So it sounds like you were talking to H.G. Wells?
Yeah, isn't that fucking nuts? Yeah, we got
That's-
HG on the show.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, did you tell him? Did you tell him about season 1 of my podcast?
No, tell him right. Introduce yourself. He's right here. Introduce yourself and tell him.
Oh, he said, okay, cool. So HG, hi. Can I call him HG?
Yeah, he
that's
likes
fine.
being.
Is that-
He said it's
Is-
fine.
That's fine. Okay. HG. Yeah. Sorry. My
It
name's,
stands for horny guy. Just so you know, it stands for horny guy.
Sounds funny, guys.
Yes. Yeah. So no. Hi, HG. Sorry. Yeah. My name's Michael Hovde. I have a podcast. I started a little while ago. It's called Reading Books in the Public Domain. And I should have picked a shorter name. But anyway, it's really just what it sounds like. I read from books, kind of like audiobooks. I don't know if you're probably not familiar with it. Oh yes, I am. It is quite funny, easy. When I'm traveling into the far distant future, occasionally on my time machine, it's somewhat dull to watch certain parts of the landscape go by, and I've taken to listening to audio books upon my travels. Okay, that's surprising, but anyway, so it's kind of like an audiobook. I read usually a chapter per episode, and just recently we finished your book, The Time Machine. The final episode, I think I uploaded it like 2 weeks ago, is chapters 10 and 11 and the epilogue. It's an honor to meet you, though. It's pretty wild. So, yeah. But thanks for writing that book. It's been a lot of fun to read. You're excuse me. You're quite welcome, young man. Your podcast sounds quite straightforward. It's very much as though it sounds as though it's what it much as described.
But it is what's on the tin, right?
Exactly right. That's exactly right. It's a very good podcast. I enjoy it. I think everybody should give it a listen. Michael, thank you very much for stopping by. We have to wrap up
Yeah.
with HG, but
problem,
and people
yeah.
can find it at StolenDress.com, but they can find it on Spotify. It's at anchor.fm/Michael Hovde, Hovde. Is that the
Yes.
easiest way to find it? Is that
Probably the easiest way would be Anchor through Stolen Dress.
okay?
I think the Stolen Dress links go to my Anchor page, so
Yes.
you can find it wherever you listen to it.
There you go.
Or I do have a website where I upload most of them except for the most recent one because I'm lazy.
Uh-huh.
But the website is hovdecreative.com. And my last name is weird. It's spelled Hovde. And I just started reading Through the Looking Glass.
Nice.
Lewis Carroll's a very strange person. Oh, okay.
Can't argue with that.
Anyway, I'll leave you guys to it.
Okay.
But thanks for thanks for having me. I will deactivate those bugs.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
very
sorry
much.
about that.
No,
Okay,
it's fine. It's fine. You got to do your due diligence. I understand.
Yeah, it's we all need to do that once in a while.
That was a delight. HG, I sorry for the interruption, but as you can tell, it was worth it. It was basically free promo for you. So
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. Quite interesting. Quite a nice young man.
I don't know if you're aware of this. There's another podcast with H.G. Wells out there starring our actor of our time, Paul F. Tompkins. Yeah, where he plays you and he acts like he's going through time and interviewing dead authors. It's called the Dead Authors Podcast. Very good podcast, worth a listen. He doesn't quite do you justice, but he does his own. Puts his own spin. But I'm assuming you've never met him. If he'd have met you, then he probably would have done it differently.
That's true.
I haven't. Well, often when I travel through time, I put on a disguise. A fake mustache over the top of my regular mustache. Heavier, thicker. Yes, to disguise my appearance, and so I have actually smoked marijuana with this Paul F. Tompkins.
Oh, okay.
On one occasion, but he didn't know it was me.
Okay. All right,
but
that's good.
I may have accidentally given him the idea for his podcast, as I've traveled extensively through time and actually talked to several authors.
All right. We won't challenge
I may
Paul
have
on
told
this.
him
Yeah.
I was very high, but all credit to Paul. He was a very nice man, very funny.
Oh yeah, very funny guy. He'll never do the show, but very funny. He's a very funny guy, but I'm certain we will never. You know what? I won't say never, but unlikely. Although he's on every other podcast in the world. Look, first of all, HG, thank you for joining us this episode.
Oh, it was my
It was
pleasure,
great to
except
have
for
you.
that bastard Steam Deck.
I know.
Sorry.
I know.
Sorry.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
that's-
You're fine.
He interjects all the time. It's one of the things we've had to learn to just
Oh yeah.
roll
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, we just have to. Well, for HG, do you have anything that you'd like to promote before we go?
All my books are public domain, you say?
Well, at least that one is. I'm
your
assuming
time.
all of them are by this time. Yeah.
Son of a
Fine.
bitch. Then no. But I would encourage you, if you have not read my work, to if you might enjoy listening to it. That man's podcast sounded like a good way to do so.
Agreed.
But
There you go. Yeah.
as I no longer make any money off of my writings, it seems frivolous to promote the. Although I will say, look for my diss track. My diss track will be coming soon. Look
wait.
for it.
I cannot wait.
Yep.
I will say this: if you're really desperate to make money in our time for whatever reason, just like deliver an undiscovered manuscript to your grandson, and then
Yeah.
bada bing.
Have him say he found it in the attic or some shit.
New
That's-
copyright. I think
That's quite a
think
devious
that's how that would work.
idea. That's
it is sneaky pants. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it's still
No,
the death
that's
of the author. I don't know. I'm still not sure, but
well, he could always pass it off as his own.
that's
I
also
don't-
true. Who knows?
That's true. He could pull a Brian Herbert.
Nothing wrong with a little deceit
Exactly.
here and there.
Dan, what would you like to promote this week, sir?
Oh, let's promote the OD&D podcast. We should have a new episode of the main podcast soon. There is already a new episode of our Western Fistful of Dice podcast. So that's oddpodcast.com. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/dgomiller, or just visit my link tree for everything. That's linktr.ee/dgomi.
Delightful. I will promote, just go to StolenDress.com. That's where all my podcasts are. That's where podcasts of many of my friends and new friends and people I keep meeting. We've got another one lined up and possibly another one after that coming out soon. And again, StolenDress.com. My link tree is linktr.ee/Jason Klamm. That's JASONKLAMM. Another weird name. Three weird names in this episode so far. And not Wells, but Horny guy's weird, though. But yeah, check those out, and you'll enjoy that stuff. Exactly right. One other thing, I'll ask Dan first, then I'll ask you, HG. Dan, what would you like to leave us with this week? A little piece of advice, a little sage wisdom.
I would say when your friends tell you to go for a walk because a time-traveling version of yourself wants to talk on the phone, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, it's fair. HG, what would you like to leave the people with this week?
You know, I think rather than attempt to pluck a pearl of wisdom from the moment, I shall fall back upon some of my words of the past.
Perfectly fine.
We should strive to welcome change and challenges because they are what help us grow. Without them, we grow weak, like the LOI. I still never really decided how that should be pronounced. Well, without them, we grow weak like the Ioli, in comfort and security. We need to constantly be challenging ourselves in order to strengthen our character and increase our intelligence.
And I'm just going to say, I'm going to leave everybody with, listen, Koozie is a shitty name for this thing. It always has been.
Yeah, I
From
agree.
now on, it is the Chillender. Please call it that. If one thing ever catches on from this podcast, it should be that the Koozie is now called the Chillender. That's all I'm gonna
Koozie
say.
sounds like a Muppet vagina.
Dan and Jay's Comedy Hour, the podcast, is part of the StolenDress Podcast Network. The show is hosted by Dan Gomiller and Jason Klamm. The Dan and Jay's Community Service theme song was composed and performed by Brian Magic Hands Madison. The Silver Jubilee theme song was composed and performed by Nick Robes, with lyrics by Jason Klamm. Have questions? Call and leave us a voicemail at our phone number, 747-248-6687. That's RIP2 Humor with a U. Subscribe to Dan and Jay's Comedy Hour on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever else you can find us. Give us a 5-star rating and write us a review. It helps. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at DJC Hour and Instagram at Dan and Jay Comedy. Or find everything in one place at danandjay.com. Visit StolenDress.com to listen to our other podcasts, watch videos, and imbibe freely of our multimedia content going back 15 plus years.
Goodbye, Dan and Jay's Comedy Hour.
StolenDress Entertainment.
Hey, it's my turn.